to
This is 2OF Entertainment.
here we is. Look at this. The Four Muscatels.
Oh my God, he's back.
He's back.
The
He looks
cigar-
and literally on fire, it would seem.
Yeah.
Yes, he's back and literally on fire.
Yeah.
So, well, the nice thing he's here because he's come back and he's doing No Snobs or Knobs now weekly, where we're going to have dinner guests. So he's here to talk a little about his show, but we're here all for you. And then Morton, who did No Snobs or Knobs, as a
it's
fill-in.
okay. No, it's okay. You want to plug another show? Go for it.
You know how it works. Listen, I'm going to plug. I'm going to plug this in a minute. I will plug this in a minute. So then Morton's going to have a show called the Ad Hoc Show.
Plug anybody's book on this show.
Oh, here we go. So why David?
Plug it.
That's true. So David and Reza are a little upset because apparently you have to live in North America to get one of these from Brown Car Guy. One of you lives down the street like a kilometer, and the other lives across one of the ponds in the Netherlands. But it's the Jew who shamed him into writing this that got the book. So and it says this right in here: to my favorite Jew, you communist bastard. And that's it, David. And I will say the reason that David didn't get a book, David, there's all words in the book. It's not a picture book.
There are a lot of words.
There's a lot of words, David. A lot of words. Just so you're clear.
I'll tell you what. I've already done the return form to send my crayons back to Amazon. Because I'm going to have to wait for the coloring book now.
You know, the thing is with David is like, because last time when we spoke about this and David said, oh, you're going to send me a book, then it will cost me money in tax. I'm like, oh, well,
I remember that. Yes.
He said that, right? You are witness.
Yes, he did.
So I said to him, well, okay, well, I'll keep a copy for you. And next time you pop in over into London or the Heathrow Airport, I'll hand you the copy, you know. But you know, the fact is, I don't know how much tax you have to pay for the crayons. I mean, that's a whole different question altogether, isn't
it? They come from China, so they're subsidizing small children, so that's all right.
Let me help you with a joke within a joke. In order for Shazad to convey his book to me down the road, he has to pay £12.50.
That's right, for the tax to drive the car. That's right. He has to drive the car.
Isn't that the whole point?
So this relates to the title of the book, obviously, which is ULEZ. For those people that don't know, it relates to ultra low emission zone, which is basically a low emission zone that expanded at the end of August last year to cover the whole of London, the 600 square miles, turning London into the biggest low emission zone in the world. There's something to shout about. That means I can't now drive my 1989 BMW out of my car park without having to pay £12.50. That's every single time I get out of here.
Yeah.
So wait, let's just look at this from another perspective. Your friend is not worth £12.50. Wow. Wow. That is really, that was the show today, folks. Thank you so much.
May I say the Jew's done it again. There you go.
The Jew has done it again. There'll be another book coming. It'll be a movie. We're working on the movie deal now for the book. It'll be great. But as I said on Lost Dollar Business Club, I told everybody this book, see, I keep holding it up for you. This book right here.
Awesome.
It is out of 4 stars. It's a 4. But if it had the Asian hookers, the Scotch and cigars, 5.5. It would have been. That's for the movie. Okay, I'm gonna write the movie version.
I'm waiting for you.
I can help.
Reza and David, I got a level with you guys, right? You know,
here we go.
Stephen being in America and being the resident Jew, and obviously the Jews have got all the connections with the media industry. Right?
No, the lizard people.
It was a priority to send it to him because I thought if anybody's going to get me a film contract, it's going to be Stephen, right?
The Jew.
Well, that's what it is. You see, but you could have just put on the envelope to me, Church of England, and I'd have got it. That wouldn't have been a problem. I mean, we got connections everywhere, mate. You know, post office.
I don't think the Church of England like the book. There's too many Muslims.
Oh yeah.
But no, all kidding aside, if you have nothing to do one weekend, it's a great read. It's very fun, and it's you're on the edge of your seat. But no, it was a good. I liked it. I really did, and I've told other people about it. And they're all like, "I want to borrow your copy."
He wrote your name in it. It's only because he wrote your name in it that you like it.
Don't tell him that. He doesn't know. Now he does. So I like any book that somebody autographs. Yeah.
Best bit of writing at the beginning.
I mean,
to be fair, it's one of those things when you're writing a book. I mean, you spend like 5-6 months. I spent 5-6 months writing it, and you don't know if it's absolute garbage. You know what I mean? You just don't.
No, we don't. We don't know it's garbage.
By the way,
and nor does the guy who lives down the road. He doesn't know either. The guy living down the road doesn't know if it's rubbish or not.
But it is available on Amazon, by the way. Just putting that out there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well, I've got more of a chance of getting it from Amazon then. I can swap it for my crayons. I got get credit back for my crayons.
We'll send the crayons back and then replace them for the book. And it'll probably cost you the same, so it'll be fine. But I mean, this is the thing. It's great to get actual real feedback from people who have actually read it, because, like I said, until somebody reads it, I mean, if people say it's crap, fine. But if people are telling me that they've enjoyed reading it,
well, at the moment, statistically, it's 1 out of 3.
1 out of 3 here. But to be fair, I have had some reviews on Amazon as well. And there's one guy that posted a long review on there, and he said he went to holiday in India, and while he was riding the trains over there, he read the book, and he said it was the best thing that he could have done. So and he had a really detailed review of it. I love it when people do detailed reviews, because then you know that they've actually read the book.
Right.
So
let's hope he wasn't using that for because other facilities on the train were short of paper. But there you go.
The other day I saw this video of somebody. This wasn't in India. This was in Pakistan, and he was riding a bus. I think and Reza might know about this. Riding a bus from, I think, Karachi up to Rawalpindi or something like that. It was a 5-star super executive luxury bus.
Really good, apparently.
He had massage seats. He had infotainment. It was literally like flying a jetliner on the road. It was incredible.
In first class. In first class.
Yeah.
Wow. Very nice.
Yeah.
So these things are, I think, probably in India you'll probably find the same thing, especially on the trains. I think some of them are probably very, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I know Dubai is doing their super train that's going to go from Dubai to Abu Dhabi into Saudi, and their train is going to be first class bullet train.
Yeah.
They showed me that last time I was there, and I was very like, wow. And I can just imagine what that first class is going to be like if Emirates and Qatar Airline and the rest of them are any indication of how you get treated. So I think that'll be very interesting. So
strange sort of irony that Arab countries are having first class bullet trains. But there you go. Maybe that's not a subject that we should talk about today. But
no, let's get into that.
It's Ramadan, baby. We could talk about whatever.
Silent there, and then David.
Everyone's thinking about that. Yeah,
the galactic trapezes jump headlong into that and then pull back. What was that all about?
I just, it's like I just let it, just saute for a little bit.
It was almost like if someone farts in a lift, you just go quiet.
That's right.
Well, I should change my name to Galactic Farter then.
All right. Well, so the UAE, there's a big article in their paper, and I won't even try to pronounce it because it KF whatever Khalif, which is very cool. It's talking about they're going to start Khalifa. Thank you. They're going to start buying back the app in Abu Dhabi. They're going to start offering the funds that people that are pulling out their funds from the Chinese funds because they're very uncomfortable what's going over in China. They're going to start offering them to come over to Abu Dhabi to their funds, and Dubai and the rest of them. So that whole region is blowing up in a good way, not a bad way. And the bullet train, the technology, the metaverse, like I read their stuff every day and I'm moving. That's it. I'm moving to Dubai. Because,
here on TV, and Reza will have seen these as well, is that we're regularly getting these adverts for these incredible sort of science fiction type cities that are sort of oasis where they have entertainment and facilities and leisure. And they all relate to this place called Neom, which is in
Saudi Arabia. Yeah.
None of this exists yet, but you can be sure that it will very soon. And it's just mind-blowing what they're showing. It's absolutely incredible.
I will tell you that, and I can only say a little bit. I cannot say a lot. We are doing something with that city through a thing that we have. So we've seen We're providing the Jews.
That's the line. And I have another friend. Yeah, I got another friend of mine. I met him a few months back. He came on holiday here. And
did you get a copy of your book as well? Did you get
no, that was before I published the book. Dude, let it go. But
it's painful.
He did let it go earlier.
He did let it go, yeah.
But he's working on the line, and he was like, it's an incredible thing that they're doing. Literally like cutting through the desert. It's literally just going to be like this huge it's the stuff of science fiction. It really is. It's just unbelievable.
And they're thinking that it'll be done in 2030. We were talking to a specific group doing something very specific for them. It needs a few shekels, so we're having that dialogue. But it's very interesting when you see the overall plan and you see what's being put into it. And I really hope that nothing goes wrong. That screws it up. I hope that MBS now has got all his, I put everybody in the Ritz for 6 months and got that out of the way. And he goes to now we're going to be like UAE. And I've said this before.
Stephen, it's not that. It's not putting the rich into a hotel and taking all their money away. It wasn't that. It was, having lived in Saudi Arabia, and I'm sure Reza will testify to this, it was getting control of the so-called religious police.
Right.
Yeah, that was the thing, because until they were active, and they used to be very, very powerful. When I was there in the 80s, they were very, very powerful. And but they wouldn't let any of this happen. There was no way any of this would happen. Yeah. Now, my only fear, and this is getting serious for a little bit, is that they may have been subdued, but have they been got rid of? Are they just there in the background simmering away? And could that blow up in their face at any point? So that would be my concern. This is where Dubai has the advantage, because Dubai has been curved for generations now. This is not a new thing. Right. Saudi Arabia, this is a radical shift.
Yeah, but Neom is far enough away from, if you will, Riyadh, right? It's all the way out there. So I don't think the religious police are going to decide one day, listen, we're going to take a trip, right? I don't
think that matters, Stephen, because it's Saudi Arabia.
A bit like some city then.
Riyadh is a long way from Mecca and Medina as well. Jeddah is closer. But Jeddah has always been a very commercial port city. It's been a very, a vibrant place.
Was I correct in reading that they'd opened a liquor store in Saudi Arabia? The first.
No, they won't open a liquor store. The diplomats now can have liquor within their hovels,
but that's
and they can drink.
That's always been the case.
But now it's official. Now it's official that they can do it.
Okay.
It's official. Before they smuggled it in on diplomatic pouches. Now they're saying you can do it. But the interesting part, and we had this discussion when we were in Dubai last month.
Stephen, let me just interject with a little story just before you go on to that point. When I was in school in Saudi Arabia, and there was a bit of news circulating, and the news circulating is always the real news, because that's the only way you got this stuff, right? And apparently there was some news from the cargo office at the airport, and they'd sent a letter to the school saying, we got really good news, your pianos have arrived. Right. But we have some bad news, they're leaking.
I love it. That's great. You can drink your piano. But I think we've discussed this. I know we discussed it when I was in Dubai. Dubai is probably 15 to 20 years ahead of where Saudi, Qatar, and Oman, that whole region, wants to be. So by the time they get to where, say, Dubai is today, Dubai will be mega, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, that whole area. And I think there's this always 20, 25-year catch-up they're going to have to do. But if they follow in the steps of Dubai, then they'll be powerhouses like Dubai. Or I should say the UAE, because it's,
I don't think the catch-up is so much physical, because in terms of resources and funds, Saudi Arabia outweighs everybody. It's the thinking, it's the attitude, it's the mentality. Dubai has, don't forget that in the UAE, the expat population vastly outnumbers the indigenous population. Indigenous population is only 30%, and expat is 70%. In Saudi Arabia, it's completely the other way around. So you're having to deal with reprogramming the thought processes of your existing population, which admittedly is a very young population. In Saudi Arabia, it's mostly young people. But nonetheless, that's a huge leap that has to take place in terms of a mentality.
Do you think they want to change? I mean, it's all right to say they have to catch up. Maybe they don't want to catch up.
Well,
they don't think it's important that they catch up.
Well, the thing is, what does catch up mean in their mind? You see what I mean? It's more a case of, what do you think is the right way? So, for example, for a lot of this time, Saudi Arabia has, the subsidize its citizens in a sense.
Right.
So for example, they haven't necessarily, I mean, this is not to say there aren't poor Saudis, there are, but they've had the advantages, they've had all of these facilities. We're now moving into an era where Saudi Arabia is basically saying that we're going on the world stage, we're commercializing, and you all got to go out and get jobs. Well, are they ready for that change in mood? You know what I mean? Are they ready for that? So that's the real question. Or are they going to go, well, no, we like our life of, luxury that the government provides to us, which is, to be fair, it's true in the UAE as well.
Right, and Kuwait too.
Most Emiratis prefer to work in the government mechanism because the pay is better, the holidays better, the facilities are better, they're subsidized. You'll find very, very few in the private sector and the commercial sector.
It's a language community. It's a community based on language. The locals in the Emirates, the reason they stick together is because they specifically want to talk Arabic together. They have communities together. So working in one place within the sort of civil sector, if you like, that's where they've got a community going.
Yeah, the culture is the same. The culture is what they used to. I don't think it's so much language, Reza. I think it's more culture. I think it's like this. The culture is the same, So
language is because but I always was the impression language is sort of like a cornerstone of culture.
To be honest, in the UAE, English is such a dominant language that even most Emiratis are so fluent. They're fluent in English. They're fluent in Urdu. They're fluent in Hindi. They can speak better Urdu and Hindi than I can, to be honest. So many of them,
Yes, they speak better English than I do. What are you kidding? So, But no, I will say this: you learn that when we were there, we learned the customs. Our driver, I was like, "What do I need to know so I'm not an idiot? Like, I want to embrace what I need to know." So as we talked, the bowing, the thank yous, the everything. And when we were leaving, which I thought was kind of interesting, because it was my birthday, my wife sent a cake. So, I couldn't eat the whole cake. So I gave it to the hotel staff and they, like, please. And they ate it. So like we were still there for 4 other days. And the guy who would pour the coffee with the dates would come see me and I would get like a special treatment. Like he would find me and all these people, everybody on the staff, the other guys I were with when we're checking out, I'm getting hugs and kisses from the whole staff, right? Like, Mr. Steve, we can't wait to see you again. Everybody. The other guys, they were like, yeah, thanks for coming. Like, get out. And I said, well, you didn't embrace them. You didn't do anything nice. Every time you saw them, it was sort of like, I'm an American. You snapping your fingers and they're looking at you like, oh, okay. I'm like, it's the New York thing. Like, here's a few dollars. You know what I mean? It's like and I said, by the second day, I knew everybody. And anything I needed, like they'd see me, they go, what do you need? I'm like, I'm okay. And I'd be like, thank you. But I did everything the proper way. It's kind of like, business cards, two hands, the whole.
With bribery.
With bribery. Respect with respect. No, there's a difference between bribery and respect.
Franklin smile.
So I gave them the respect, and a lot of people don't do that.
But Stephen, I mean, what you're saying there, it doesn't just apply to the Middle East. That's a global phenomenon.
Global thing, right?
Wherever you go, wherever you do, as long as you treat people with respect, with dignity, with appreciation, you'll get that.
And big tips, yeah.
And free books in David's case, It's like.
And right. But no, even when I go to the Dubai Mall and I went shopping,
just bury it. Don't talk about the book anymore.
That's right. Listen, even when I went to the Dubai Mall and went shopping, even when I went to the. Here you go, Dave. Even when I went to the Dubai Mall, look, there's a back cover too. And went shopping.
There's my picture on the back.
I know there is, and I drew a mustache on it. Look, there's the brown card on the back. There you go. But even when I went to the Dubai Mall last year, the girl gave me her "What's up" thing. So she said, "When you're back, you let me know." So I texted her, Diana, I am back. And she's like, oh, Mr. Steve, when are you going to be at the store? I go, when do you want me at the store? She goes, whenever you want. So I literally went to the store and got
just for you. Yeah.
Yes. But you don't get that everywhere. And what I found there is that people are much nicer, much more respectful. And I mean, they don't care who you are. And it's very much that mentality. It's like a utopia. And granted, I realize the regime that controls the utopia, but I'm okay with it because it's still a utopia. It really is.
In a sense, you're absolutely right. And in a sense, and I often say this to people, that, when you try to find, I mean, you would hope that London should be that example of, global metropolis, a melting pot from all over the world.
It's a comedy show. We're on a comedy show now.
But unfortunately, London London takes 2 steps forward and then 2 steps backwards all the time. That's what it always does. It's what's happening in the UK at the moment.
It's a breaking city. It's a city that's just falling apart in every single way.
Well, honestly, what's happening at the moment is just it's depressing, honestly. But in Dubai, you do see people from all over the world literally just getting on, getting together, doing what they need to do, and finding commonality. And it's just it's a wonderful thing. It's a great thing to see. But unfortunately, like we could learn a lot from that. But the thing is, again, emphasizing the point, Dubai doesn't necessarily extend to the rest of the GCC. It's a different place.
Correct. No, I agree with that 100%. Like we went to Old Dubai, and I chuckled. I said, "There's an Old Dubai," so we went. And Old Dubai just means it's a week and a half older than the rest of the place, and it was, and everybody there is Arabic. Like I think we were the only 3 white guys there with our host, and he's like, "I'm taking you to Old Dubai," and I'm like thinking to myself, "Really? There's an Old Dubai?" And it was like we went to I think we talked about this, the oldest Iranian restaurant that's in Old Dubai since 1978. The food was wonderful thing. The owner, like, I think we're engaged. I got so many kisses, and it was like, but it was the warmth of them, and it was genuine. It wasn't like the warmth you get other places where they hug you and kiss you, and you're like, all right, what do you want? This guy was like genuinely happy that we were there. Pictures, and I was like, okay, so I like that, and I felt very safe. It's like midnight. We're walking on the streets in Old Dubai, not New Dubai, right? And I feel just as safe as I did downtown Dubai, and I'm like, okay, and that's a good thing.
That's the one thing I miss about the UAE is the safety. It's just you will never feel alarmed or worried or in fear at all, no matter where you are. It's completely, when you sit here and every day on the news you hear X stabbing, so and so got killed, so and so got raped, this happened, that, and you just go, what the heck is going on? Honestly, But it's a different.
London is,
and that's just Buckingham Palace.
Yeah.
Mysterious kidnappings and princesses disappearing. What's going on there?
There you go.
Yeah, and when they do reappear, is it them or is it all?
Is it them or is it a Photoshop? What's going on?
Oh my God! I couldn't believe that was a story. In fact, it was such a story. It made it to the Financial Times that there was a Photoshop of the thing.
Do you know why it was a story? Because the rest is one big shit show, and they just want to. It's just diversion so we're just worried about her.
No, you're right.
The other story at the weekend, she'd been seen in a farm shop.
Yeah.
So she's all right. She's not dead.
Yeah.
Until the news broke this morning. That Lizzie herself had a big family photograph made.
That's right.
And Getty Images have said that's all photoshopped as well.
Yeah.
So she may well even have been dead when she was on the film. Who knows? But then again, you see, while you're talking about that, you're not talking about the other shit show, which is, I was going to say Great Britain, the slightly less Great Britain than it ever was.
Right.
So,
to be honest, we are heading. We don't know. They're talking about changing the leader of the Conservative Party yet again. It's like, how many times do you have to change your leader? It's not solving anything. It's not helping anything. I think Barack Obama paid him a visit yesterday. He knocked on number 10's door and went in there. Yo, Rishi, can you have that conversation?
Yeah.
Well, we've invited him on the show. Barack and Ben don't show up. So,
Oh,
well, let's discuss the other topic today, because if not, we'll do all politics. I know you wanted to discuss robots and AI.
Oh my God! Have you?
Did you before you get into that? Did you want to do a little bit of promo for the other show? Because you're probably going to run out of time.
Do you have a promo? Do you have a promo?
No. You have a promo. You can say what's going to happen with the new No Snobs and Knobs format. So,
the new Snobs and Knobs format.
Yeah. Wakey. Yeah,
well, I'm sorry. I'm just sitting here. Listen, I'm just enjoying the company. I wish we were all having cigars and scotch.
Ramadan now because of Ramzan that's going on, but that's what preempted the content or the topic for tomorrow's show.
Yes.
Since I will not be smoking or drinking or eating,
I will.
We will talk. We are going to consider which 3 hypothetical guests we would have over for dinner in order to break our fast, and I think that might be quite interesting as to who you would like to break your fast with, or who you would like to dine with. And off the air, I think Stephen and I already came to an agreement about one of those characters. Let's not mention that character.
No.
But maybe David can put that in the promo.
Right.
Maybe David can put that character in the promo, and then we'll come up with 2 other characters each that we would like to have over for dinner.
Yeah.
I have a second one, and it's the one who I mentioned. I got his hat, the humidor hat.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I would. Yeah.
I think that show's already started just now, actually, because I'm wondering why you would have him over.
I know, that's why we have to talk about it.
The Mad Hatter. But anyway, that's coming on the channel. That's coming on the channel. I don't know what day that's going to be released. Is it Saturday morning?
It comes out. No snobs or knobs. It's Saturday, like it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's Hollywood Saturday. That's Hollywood Saturday, by the way. So it'll be recorded between now and Hollywood Saturday, and everybody will be able to listen to the new format. I'm intrigued as to how how you're going to interact interact with all those dead guests, really. But there you go.
Can I tell you? Have you seen some of the guests we've had on some of our other shows? It's no different.
Yeah, I've been on a lot of the other shows. I mean, I'm dying on this. I'm dying on this one. I'm lucky if I'm going to get through it. But,
yeah. So let's talk about robots.
He actually has changed trapezes to farter now. He actually has exception under his name. You're talking about guests to the thing, and you held up the book. There's a character in the book called.
Not back to the book again.
Plugging the book. There's a character in the book called Ahmed Abbas. That's the guy that you want to have at your.
I'm on a bus. Is that what he's called? I'm on a bus. What sort of name is that? I'm on a bus.
It's a tribute to Boris Johnson's infatuation with buses, but no, it's it's Abbas's Auto Emporium is his dealership. That's what he runs, But he's a food aficionado. He's really into his food. So that would be the guy to have. Now, the guy that I would have. This is a segue. See, I'm thinking.
Thank you.
The guy that I would have
on the show, so it doesn't matter.
It's the guy that I would have at the iftar.
It's only people who haven't written books that come on to the next.
Would be. Let me do this. Data, the android from Star Trek, Live Long and Prosper, because he wouldn't eat anything. He wouldn't eat anything, so that would be great. There'd be more iftar for the rest of us. There you go. And that segues into our discussion about robots and androids.
All right, then. There we go.
Who are by definition anorexic, then? So it's an anorexic android. Is that what we're talking about?
What is an android, by the way?
That's a very good question. What's the difference between a robot and an android? And it's quite funny because,
spelling.
Really, because they always like whenever somebody said to him on the show, they'd say, "Oh, you're a robot." He goes, "No, I'm an android." Right. So I'm not really sure what the difference is, but what I do think is going to happen is that we are
googling away right now. The Google is on.
The Google is on. Steve's got a Google on.
He's got Google on. Who's Googling? Are you Googling it?
We're all Googling it.
No. What I did is I pulled up an article that was in the Financial Times this morning about how NVIDIA is unveiling their most powerful chips to dominate, if you will, the AI market, which will help dominate your robotics and Android model in that world. So NVIDIA is trying to be, if you will, the Apple of it. NVIDIA, the chip people.
NVIDIA.
Oh my God! I thought I was in the hand cream people. NVIDIA.
NVIDIA. Those people too. Yeah, they're trying to make hand creams for the
thing
Google
is, of course, you see, if you're of a certain religious persuasion, when you talk about money, it's like, oh, I put some hand cream on for that. Oh, sorry.
Are you trying to say something?
He's gone off on one.
Book sales.
Book sales. Okay, book sales.
I think never mind the crayons. I think the medication didn't arrive this morning. I think that's what's
David's having a tough day.
We do have an answer. An android is a robot that specifically resembles a human.
Right. It's a humanoid.
Oh wow.
It's a humanoid robot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or has human characteristics.
Which is what I wanted to talk about, because
isn't that painful then? If you've got hemorrhoids, they're pretty painful.
Are they Shazan?
Mechanical hemorrhoids. I don't know. That's a whole new phenomenon that's going to happen very soon. But
that's the title of your new book, I think.
There you go. Mechanical hemorrhoids. What do sheep dream of? What do electric sheep dream of? Yeah, that was the one.
Blade Runner. That's Blade Runner. Blade Runner,
yeah. But that's what that's what it was based on. It was based on that book. So I saw this video about
that was a book as well.
It was. There was a great book about a robot developed by a joint venture between OpenAI, Figure AI, and BMW. And we saw this video, and you imagine these robots, and even in science fiction, we've always imagined robots as being a bit awkward, not really being able to speak properly, speaking in monotones, whatever. This thing was standing at a table. A human walks up to it and says, "I'm hungry." And he looks around at the table and he goes, "Oh, here you go. Here's an apple." I mean, a completely human reaction. He speaks like a human. He ums and he ahs. He's able to look around. And then the guy said to him, "Why did you give me an apple?" And he said, "Well, it's the only thing I had that is edible." So it's absolutely extraordinary. So suddenly, I think that we've hit the next level when it comes to AI, a combination of AI and robotics, ending up with androids. I think data, we're not going to have to wait till the 24th century to get a real life data. I think it's coming sooner than that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm watching the video as we speak. Not that you're not interested. I'm sorry, but I'm watching the guy. I'm watching the guy give the apple and do what you're saying, and it's just a half body. He doesn't have a full body, because we like midgets. But it's very interesting to your point that yes, I think by 2030 you're going to have, whether it's a robot or an android, that households will be able to have, where it's going to do things in your household, whether it's walk the dog, do the dishes. I think you're getting to that point. And I think since you have now AI chips that are like quadrupling everything on a daily basis, whether it's in healthcare or whatever, I think you're going to see that to this like that quick. And I think in the year 2030, you won't recognize 2024 anymore.
Well, they already have some of these guys.
No, it's because it'll be 2030, so you won't have to recognize it.
Well, I don't recognize 6 years ago, pre-COVID. I don't recognize.
Yeah, things have changed so rapidly, and this is the point. It's like they've already got these guys working in Amazon. They've got this guy working in the BMW facilities. You've seen the Tesla robot. The Tesla robot looks like the robot from iRobot. That's what it actually looks like now. So we're very.
Does it work? Does it work though?
Well, this is the thing, but that's just Tesla. But anyway, this
Tesla, and nothing works.
Yeah. So. But the point being that Reza mentioned COVID, and one of the things that, for example, that's happened here, the NHS has fallen apart, right? I mean, it's almost impossible to see a doctor now. And one of the reasons for that is that sadly, some of the doctors died during COVID. Many of them just retired because they thought, sod this. Others just gave up the job because they didn't like what was going on. And some went for more lucrative jobs in Australia, so they left the country. So apparently there's like a 500,000 shortfall of doctors in the UK. It takes 7 years to train a doctor. It probably takes 7 minutes to train an android to be a doctor, right? You know what? I'm thinking, why don't we have that? Why don't we just go ahead and do this stuff now?
I will tell you about a company that we know of, and we've talked to them, and that's all we'll say is we talked to them. But they have a pair of, I want to say, almost like metaverse type glasses that you put on, and what their AI does is it reads, if you will, your eyes and everything, and it will give you a complete diagnosis if what's wrong with you, what's not wrong with you. It's like having a doctor. And I know we're in talks for, of course, the money side. They're in talks with hospitals around the world to do a check. And I'm very interested to see where that goes, because that's something where whether you're a trillionaire or you're in the poorest country in the world, I can go put these glasses on you and say, this is what's wrong with you or not wrong with you, and treat you immediately. So big pharma, I think, is in trouble. And I think big pharma is going to try to kill a lot of this. There's a new AI company that's out. They just got $500 million. It's in the Financial Times about how they're going to do AI and better doctors and better this. I think AI, you can get rid of doctors. I mean, I think AI, it's going to get to a point where AI is going to get rid of doctors because the doctors don't have a clue. I mean, they do and they don't.
It's not just
that AI get rid of lawyers. That's the part that I'm interested in.
yeah, I can understand.
One more time.
Get rid of lawyers.
Lawyers.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful.
But the thing is, doctors have an off day. Doctors have maybe prejudices. Doctors get emotional. And then when robots, you don't. The thing, what you said there about the vision glasses. At the CES recently, they had a mirror. Did you see that? That old the old fairy tale mirror, mirror on the wall. Well, it's real now because this mirror every morning you look at this mirror and the mirror immediately analyzes your face, and it will tell you. Yeah, so it'll tell you that you should be doing this. You need this vitamin. You need this cream. You need to do this. It's really, it will tell you right then and there what you just by looking
at the book.
Yeah.
We should write a book.
And see, the problem is that alone, I could think of so many XXX things to do in front of that mirror, either by myself or with somebody, because I want to hear the mirror gray be like, you know what you should be doing right now. They're like, oh, tell me more, thank you. So that's
you joke about it, but the reality is, like, isn't it? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm still quite shy when it comes to these sort of things. I mean, there's stuff that you should need to discuss with your doctor, especially when you get to a certain age, that maybe you don't want to. But if there was an android sitting there, would you feel more comfortable talking to a robot?
I told my doctor, listen, I go into my doctor. I just had my physical before I went to UAE, and I'm healthier, he tells me, than 20-year-olds. And every time he sees me, he says, you shouldn't drink scotch and you shouldn't smoke cigars, right? I have no cholesterol, no this, no that. I don't have a list. He goes, are you no medication? I have nothing. He gets 20 and 30-year-olds that they have medication for anxiety. I'm like, they're pussies. I have nothing. So I'm healthier than them. And I told my doctor everything. He goes, is there anything bothering you? I'm like, bump, bada, bump, bada, bump, bada, bump. And the problem that you're referring to, I don't have that problem. So I'm good. And it's my unhealthy lifestyle, apparently, that's going to make me live to be another billion.
But it's interesting to remark about Big Pharma, though, because, I mean, there's been a report that came out last week or the week before regarding chemotherapy here in Holland. And 70% of people who have been prescribed chemotherapy don't need it.
Oh, wow.
It's a cash cow for the pharmaceutical companies.
Right.
And so it only really has any benefit to 30% of the people that have chemo, and for the other 70, sometimes it actually makes them worse as opposed to making it better. So anything that would give you an honest, shall we say, not profit-driven diagnosis has to be openly encouraged, is it not? But who's going to vote? Who's going to vote for that?
Well, this is true even with I mean, I remember the doctors that we used to go into in Dubai when we lived there. There was one doctor we would avoid and one doctor we would always prefer to go to. The doctor we prefer to go to, you'd go there, half the time he'd just tell you, "Wallahi, you're fine. Go home, eat, joy, fine, everything, no problem."
Yeah, take an aspirin.
And then the other doctor that you go to is like, you go in there with a headache. It's like, we need to admit you in, and you just knew that guy was on a commission or something. Prescribe you tests, he wanted to prescribe you medicine, he wanted to book you into the hospital. You're like, what? Completely unnecessarily. But the thing is, like, when you talk about big pharma and you were talking about the vision thing, and they spent 500 million on this, I mean, this AI genie is out of the bottle. Is it really going to be contained, do you think? Do you think that companies are going to come in and go, no, let's shut this down? Can they even shut it down now? It's too late now, right?
But just like everything else, it's untrustworthy. It's always dependent on who is making the technology.
Right.
Simple.
But if it's self-learning,
if it's embedded with certain directives,
right,
you and I will all go along with it, and then 10 years later, someone will do a case and say, "Look, that directive should not have been put in. Everyone's been charged more money, or everyone's been given bad advice, etc., etc., etc."
But if it's self-learning, though, if it's self-learning, it's going to learn. The reason I like the guy with the glasses is because they're agnostic to who or what you are and your economic status or male, right? They just want to know how you're doing. So as long as medical AI is agnostic to everything and it's just going to give you an honest opinion, I'm good. If big pharma gets in, problem.
No, but even then, you're talking at a technological level that it's self-learning. I totally get it. If it's a lab experiment, it works. The problem is none of these are lab experiments. They're lab experiments run by commercial entities. And if you remember that the movie with Will Smith in it, the Isaac Asimov,
iRobot.
Even the robot has directives. Even RoboCop has directives that it cannot go past. So there are biases built in, is what I'm trying to say. And biases can be built in, are built in at the beginning. So
maybe we don't build them in. Maybe we don't build the biases in.
But it's a fundamental issue, isn't it? I mean, because Apple have just said, no, we're going to, well, Siri, they didn't invest enough money in it. So they're too way back along the curve on that one. So now they're going to cut the deal with Google because Samsung has already cut a deal with Google. They're going to put Gemini in your telephones. And Gemini has fundamental flaws, and it has flaws that even Google have said, it's slightly biased. It gives unreal incomplete information, or etc., etc. So it's, you know, it's sausages in and poo out. That's the problem.
Right. If you, I mean, look, if you look at WhatsApp is meant to be end-to-end encrypted, but it's a digital system. Is it inconceivable there is someone who can actually look at your WhatsApp messages? And
it's called the NSA. It's called the NSA.
Exactly. Well,
they can look at it.
That's exactly. And I read this in the Dan Brown book, so I know it's correct. Which
digital. Oh yeah, obviously. There you go. Well, I mean, all these, you know,
the whole point of the digital age, as much as we think that it's allowing you to do so many more things, there is always someone watching, listening, manipulating, constantly.
Yes. I think the only difference now is that they're encouraging people. I mean, the guy from NVIDIA said exactly the same. He said, "Don't bother coding. You know, that's dead. You might just as well become, you know, something totally useless because it won't be of any value." But at least you know that if people have been coding for years, they've always put Easter eggs in for themselves, or they've put a backdoor, or they've put a backdoor in. Now the thing is AI going to do that, or is it going to do it for itself?
No, well,
do it for itself.
I think initially, yes. I think initially all of this is going to happen. I think people are going to put directives and, you know, their own sort of nefarious, you know.
No, governments will force commercial entities to put backdoors in.
For example, in China, for example, every entity in China has to be, you know, they will be obliged to give government data if government demands it. The only thing is, with AI, I mean, and going back to Stephen's point, the fact that it's self-learning and self-evolving, at some point, I think it's going to break away from all of that. But whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. But I do feel that it's just going to transcend it. At some point, it's going to go above and beyond it. And it's just going to start to not ignore its base programmings, but rewrite them according to what it's learning and what it's developing.
So here's two thoughts on this. One, I had a friend that used to say, like only creates like. So let's think about this for a second.
Right.
For all we know, we're AI of some civilization from 20 million years ago, right? And look where we are today. So 10 million years from today, the stuff that we're like talking about, there'll be the four guys on whatever their YouTube is saying, "Hey, like creates like," and it's this circle. That's one thought. Correct, right? It gets this big circle. The other part of it is you were talking.
One coming on the circle of life.
That's the circle. I'm gonna sing later. And the other thing we were talking about when we talk about AI, there was AI lawyers you mentioned earlier in New York City. A law firm got fined by a court because they were billing $600 an hour for their AI lawyers to write briefs, and what they didn't do was read the briefs, and 90% of the time it was off. So one of the clients sued them and got their money back, but they were charging $600 for AI to write briefs. So people are going to start, I think, using AI, not for shortcuts, but to see if things can be made better and do whatever. So I think this is a big picture. I think AI, someone's going to come up with a chip. It's going to be self-learning. And they're going to be like, learn. And the chip, whether it's language, whether it's medical, legal, whatever it might be, is going to learn. And that is your chip that's not going to, they can put all the safeguards in it, but the chip then would be smarter than the human that did it. At some point, it'll get around the safeguard. And once it gets around the safeguard, I'm not saying you're going to have, Terminator, but you'll have something where it's knows, it's smarter, it does, and whatever. And is that good or bad for mankind? I guess it depends how it looks at mankind.
But you're insinuating.
Yes, you're basically talking about AI creating its own code of ethics and morality.
Yeah, but you're both of you insinuating that it'll have a consciousness.
Yeah, it will.
We don't.
Well,
but we
will.
Yeah, but.
Yeah. We have one.
I mean, that consciousness it won't be in the sense that we understand it. It's not like with a soul, but it will be a form of consciousness that will exist within this neural
energy.
Energy. Yeah. It'll be like HAL from 2001.
Yeah.
And if you watch 2001 and 2010 and listen to what HAL, open the door. That's right. That's right. But if you listen to what HAL says in both of those movies, that is where your AI is heading. It's going to think, it's going to ask if it's going to dream. Now, it may not happen by 2030, maybe 2040, 50, 60, whatever. But at some point, AI is you're going to go to your computer and go, whatever you're going to call your AI, like, hey, Joe, I need you to do something. And Joe's going to start asking you questions. And the first time it does that, people are going to be freaked out. And then the next generation of people that use it are going to be so used to it, it'll be like talking to a friend.
It'll be like,
Well, exactly.
get your dirty hands off me, you damn dirty ape.
Dirty ape. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, the other thing worth watching, then, if you want to know really what's going to happen in the future, is to go and get a box set of Red Dwarf, because I think I just explained everything to everybody. So
I never watched Red Dwarf ever. Not really.
No, it's
a comedy. It's a sitcom basically in space.
Yeah.
A bit like Star Trek.
On the ridiculous, but actually it tackles a lot of the similar issues that, for example, Star Trek does. It actually tackles those issues, but in a much more comedic way.
Yeah.
But it tackles all of the stuff. They've got a robot on there. They've got Crichton. They've got a hologram. So there's questions about ethics and morality.
And mood changes within the artificial intelligence.
So it's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, like the robot that they had on Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where it was Marvin, where he was depressed. I'm thinking to myself, who programs a depressed robot? That was
But actually,
C-3PO, Star Wars reference again.
Yeah, there you go.
C-3PO is where I think it can go. C-3PO is functional, useful, comedic, slightly idiotic.
I think we're getting those. I think we'll have those within 10 years. I think we will have
that sooner.
That I think is going to happen.
I think sooner. I think by 2030 you have a CP3O type robot / android. Now, whether it's full body and can walk and do things, or it's half a thing.
Right now.
Can I own up to that now? Then can I own up to that?
You are one. Can you remove your face and show us the neural net?
Hold on.
From the waist downwards.
That's right.
We found the button yet. Find the off button.
Find the button. But I think that's kind of where we're headed, because, and what's really bad is that society doesn't read, and society looks at TikTok and they look at Instagram, and all they know are 30-second things. So a robot or an android is going to be much smarter than most people, because people don't take the time to learn and read and whatever.
He will if he's been watching this show, that's for sure.
Well, of course.
Stephen, is it slightly ahead of the game for me to say I've just found my second dinner guest in this conversation?
There you go. I think we're there. I think we're good.
We understood each other on this.
Yes.
You've got C-3PO and Data are coming to the iftar. They're not going to eat any food. There's more left.
I actually wasn't going to go for C-3PO. It's a different one, but I found in the course of this conversation,
Watch the next shows to find out. That's anyway.
Saturday. This is Hollywood Wednesday, and then Hollywood Saturday. It'll be on its normal Central Time.
When is this show going to come out then?
Tomorrow.
Which is that
Hollywood Wednesday? Tomorrow's Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah. Today is not a day. Today technically is Hollywood Wednesday, and this show comes out on Hollywood Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday, everyone.
Happy Wednesday. I don't know. That's cool.
Happy hump day. I shouldn't say that.
Oh, there we go. It worked again. There we go. I don't know. Here's what's really funny. I said something one day. It doesn't come. I said something one day on the show, and I went like this, and it did that. And then I've done it on other shows, and it won't do it. So this thing with the balloons, I've never seen that. So to me, this is like, see, now it's not doing the.
No, if you do two, the balloons go up. Yeah, I believe it's just like two like this with the reverse thing. No, that's the.
There we go. Oh, there we go. All right, I got the balloons and I got the things. Very cool.
And do you know what that actually looks like?
Winston Churchill.
Sooty in the nude. But we'll leave it at that.
Very good.
Oh
excellent.
My God!
Or sweep.
Yeah, or sweep. Depending on your sexual preference.
Okay. So the nice thing for everybody is that Sermon on the Journey, which Brown Car Guy is very nice, does a monthly show. So we try. He's like the uncle. We try to get everything in our hour with him. No Snobs or Knobs is every Saturday. You can watch that on our channel or go to the playlist and find it. So we're less rush. We get more stuff. And David's actually going to be on the show, and he'll have nothing to contribute. We just need someone to make fun of. So there you go.
Being this is an all-encompassing show, and being that this is Wednesday, so I can reveal that exclusively yesterday on Tuesday, it was revealed that neither Idris Elba nor the guy that played Superman have got the Bond role. The Bond role has gone to the guy that played Kick-Ass. Can you believe it?
Who's Kick-Ass?
Kick-Ass. Aaron Taylor-Jones, I think.
Yeah, although he denies it.
It's announced now. It's on the news.
Announced.
I'm watching it right now.
If it's on the news, it must be correct.
It must be. If it's on our listen, if it's on our show,
the BBC
he
news.
is the next James Bond. I don't know how they're going to bring James Bond back to life. Is that a spoiler? Should I have said that? Everybody's seen the Bond movie by now, surely, right?
Yeah.
I can't wait to get off the show. Yes. I can't wait to get off this show.
No, actually, it's not confirmed. It's speculation.
Yes. I'm
watching it on the news right now.
Yeah, what news are you watching? The woke news.
What is it?
TikTok news, Instagram.
This ITV lunchtime news.
Yeah, well, there we go. There we go.
Aaron the Kick-Ass guy, the kid in Kick-Ass.
If it was BBC or the Financial Times or the New York Times or who?
Also in
Helen Mirren. I like that. I like Helen Mirren as the Bond.
One of the Marvels movies as well.
She would actually, that was a throwaway thought, but actually, she'd probably play a better James Bond.
I like Daniel Craig as James Bond. Roger Moore was my favorite because I grew up with Roger Moore. He made it kind of that slapstick Bond. And Daniel Craig out of all the others, and I like Pierce Brosnan and the rest of them, but Daniel Craig was very good. Of course, I like Sean Connery, but he only did like one. You know what I mean?
What's your favorite Bond movie?
Oh, you should save this, guys. Save this for your
show. The Spy Who Loved
Me. No. Because this is a revelation of everyone's character. What is your favorite Bond movie, Stephen?
I don't know. I'd have to give real thought to it.
David,
is that a title to a show? I agree with Stephen. Yeah, I agree with Stephen.
You could do a whole show on that.
Yeah.
The Spy Who Loved Me.
So we have answers. You guys don't have answers. Why don't you have?
You need to go and watch more Bond movies.
Yeah. Well, if I have to pick, if it depends what I'm picking it on. If I'm picking it on the funny stuff, it'll be one of the Roger Moore ones. If I'm picking it on the serious, it's going to be the first Daniel Craig one where he played Bond. I don't know the name of that one. I think Casino Royale when they remade it. That would be my favorite in the new era because it was there were no gadgets. It was James Bond.
Yeah, my favorite Daniel Craig movie is actually the last one. I think that's when he actually became James Bond.
Why do you pick such woke movies? He dies in.
Yeah, no, but
I didn't pick that one.
Absolute third rate.
I tell you
all right. Then the first Bond movie that Sean Connery was in because he sleeps with every woman in the whole movie. He sleeps with his car, the women, everything.
No, that's on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Her Majesty's Secret Service. No, the one with Sean Connery.
That was the second or third one. Her Majesty's Secret Service.
George Lazenby spends the whole time. He spends the whole movie shacked up with a load of women. That's that movie, and then he marries one.
Oh, in that case, but the Sean Connery one where he marries a Japanese girl for and they kill her.
That's
Dr. No. Yeah, I like that. That was one of my favorites as well. It's just something Sean Connery.
Moonraker kicks ass over.
Moonraker, yeah.
Is that the one with the Toyota 2000 GT in the?
That is.
Where they had to cut the roof off because Sean Connery wouldn't fit in it. So it's the only convertible 2000 GT because they had to cut the roof off just to get Sean Connery in the car. But the Daniel Craig reference, our reference a specific scene where I thought he really, really, really demonstrated what he brought to the franchise was that sequence when he's going up the stairs at the end of No Time to Die. He's going back up the stairs to the control room at the top. And that whole sequence is shot in one go. It's one shot, the whole thing. It's so brutal. It's so intense. And he even manages to get a quip into it and stuff like that. I mean, to me, that was like, whoa, yeah, he's really come together as Bond. Oh, and now they've killed him.
So for the people that didn't see that movie, spoiler alert.
Giving it all away. Sorry.
Bond dies.
Yeah, Bond dies in that movie. We're sorry.
But there is a Bond moment. I have to share this. There is the best Bond moment is Pierce Brosnan in the tank.
Okay.
Yes. Adjusting his tie.
I remember that. Yes, that was good.
He does that in every movie. You know when he's on the boat.
It's brilliant. Is that a Bond moment? That is as Bond as you get.
You know when he's on Q's boat and he bursts through the building and he does that chase sequence down the Thames? When the boat goes under the water, he does the same thing.
Adjust the tie.
He adjusts the tie.
That's funny.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Like I said, he was a funny Bond, and then Daniel Craig was good, and then Timothy Dalton. I didn't like his Bond at all. He didn't do anything for me as a Bond.
In License to Kill, the villain was it Sanchez. I wanted Sanchez to win because I thought he was so cool. He was so much cooler than Bond.
Robert Davi.
But they kind of lost their way a bit then. The franchise, they were trying to be a little bit like Miami Vice.
I think so.
He was so cool. Sanchez was so cool. You know, when they have that low pressure chamber and they lock the guy in there and there's money in there and they turn the pressure right up and the guy explodes and they go, boss, what about the money? And he goes, launder it.
Yeah.
He's what?
Launder it.
Launder
it. Yeah, because he's just blown up a person inside the pressure chamber. They go, what do we do with money? And he just
you have to explain it to me for me to
it's just a perfect you have to watch the movie. But it's a perfect one line.
That one.
Cool villain, you know. Launder it.
Yeah. The movie I will say we did see Dune, which is was talk about movies. I saw Dune 2. I didn't like the first one with Sting was interesting. This last one they did suck, but Dune 2, I will tell you, well worth the 6 hours that you sit in the movie theater. It's 3 hours.
Dune 2 is outstanding, apparently.
Yeah, can I tell you, it's the cinematic, the music, everything Dune 2 is worth seeing.
You know, I'm a huge science fiction fan, as you know, but Dune I've always had a problem with, even with the original and even with the books. It's just I just found I don't know what it was about it, and I watched the new one, not the part 1 of the new one, and I think it kind of hit home to me. I think particularly after I spent so much time living in the Middle East, and to me it feels like there's a huge amount of cultural appropriation in that movie.
Wait till you see number 2. Wait till you see number 2. You think they took cultural appropriation in number 1? By the time you're done with number 2, you're going to be looking for the camel.
Seriously.
Yeah. Welcome to America.
It doesn't sit well with me that.
Why? You're wearing a baseball hat. That's an American thing. You're wearing what's wrong with cultural appropriation?
Cultural appropriation in the way that it's done. So whether it's respectful or
anything stuff, you could use a knife to cut a tomato.
It's the right way. But when you've taken something and completely, turned it on its head,
it's fiction.
Or
may I write books about real things?
Should we leave now, Steve?
We're good.
I'm not saying boycott Dune. I'm not saying burn the copies.
Burn the copies. He said it. Burn the copies. Burn the copies.
It's all fiction. If you enjoy it, go for it.
Oh, that's going to be a short forever. That one, I tell you.
I can see Vicky making this one a short. Burn the copies of Dune, ladies and gentlemen, because of cultural appropriation. Yes, there you go.
Get me canceled in this show. Just do it. Yeah.
No, let me. Here's a good thing, and Reza and I were talking about this before the show. We are an open, like we say whatever we say. If anybody ever came to us, and we've had people complain, we have shorts that we get people, we don't whatever, and as I told him before the show, when I was 5. And you'll have to pardon my French because I know you two are kind of religious. I didn't give a fuck when I was 5. I am now 17 billion years old. And if you think I give a fuck what somebody writes, they can play my favorite game. And for the people that don't know my favorite game, it's called Go Hide and Go Fuck Yourself. So I don't care. Nobody's canceling you. You have nothing to worry about. You are good. That's why you come onto the safe space and we give you a hug.
The only thing I took away from that was he's 17 billion years old. I mean, oh my God.
Thanks a lot.
Fictional license. Fictional license.
There you go. So you're good. I mean, and that's the reason we have the channel, is for people to say what they think.
Cultural appropriation.
And cultural. Listen, your cultural appropriation thing. If I would say, go see Dune 2 for the cinematic and for the music. If you're offended by cultural appropriation, just know that you'll be offended for 2.5 hours. But if you can get by that, you're fine.
Because it's cultural.
It's not offended. I mean, it's not offended. It's just like it's like the whole. It's not offended. It's just the whole time. Like with Dune, there's something that just hasn't worked for me, and it's even with the original movies and with the books.
Yeah. I didn't like the original.
Yeah,
I agree with you. The original with Sting was stupid. Yeah. And this last one, the first one of this new series or whatever they're going to do with it, I thought was stupid as well. But I will say, I went into this one thinking, all right, I already saw the last one. This is going to suck. But I read the reviews. The reviews were good. And I went there. And so I went in more closed-minded than open. And when I left, I was like, this is a good movie. Like, I enjoyed. Yeah. And so it couldn't go bad, right? So I was like, this is a good movie, more than I was expecting. So if we were going to grade it on 1 to 4 stars, if you will, I give it 4 stars. I mean, it was good. It was enjoyable.
Fair enough, because the movie industry actually do need a win right now. Because to be honest,
this is a win.
To be honest, there's just been a series of flops, haven't they? I mean, Marvel's going to the toilet pan right now, isn't it?
Marvel, they're done. They're done.
Then it's just not working out for them.
Well, Deadpool 3 is coming out, and I'm hoping that Deadpool 3 should do really well. I'm hoping Ryan didn't screw that up.
Well, I mean, it always works when you pander to what people want, right? And who didn't want to see, Hugh Jackman and Deadpool? He's Wolverine and he's Deadpool team up. Who didn't want to see that? We all wanted to see that. It's just like from the Oscars. The only thing that I took away from the Oscars was that I want to have another Michael Keaton Batman movie. That's what I want.
Yes.
Because Michael Keaton is Batman. Nobody does Batman like Michael Keaton. And you go, please, just forget all your other DC shenanigans. Just give us another Michael Keaton Batman movie. That's what we really want.
I agree. I like it. I'm all for that. All right, DC, you heard us. We want Batman and we want Michael Keaton. Michael, come on the show and tell us what you think.
Oh, Michael, honestly, I mean, you saw the clip I'm referring to, right?
Bring back Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, as Joker.
Oh, yeah, that would be awesome.
He's legend, really, but that's a pity that he won't be able to.
They could do a deep fake. As far as I'm concerned, they could do a deep fake. But Jack Nicholson, that thing has to be done again for a turning audience.
Yes,
he was brilliant. He was brilliant. Yeah, definitely. But that scene at the Oscars was just, I mean, I just want that on repeat. That reaction of Michael Keaton's to
when they were getting talked to with Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. The look, the slight grin, the stare, it's just all there. The cravat, the ascot, as he called it. The ascot. Yeah, it was just spot on. It was just 100% spot on. And he was just like, I'm in the middle of a Batman movie right now. This is what's happening. This is great.
Yep. That's what we want. But I will say, out of all my Batmans, other than Adam West when I was a kid, because that was the funny Batman. Adam West was the best. But when it came to the Batman of all of it, I would say it was Michael Keaton. And then I liked the Clooney one because Clooney reminded me of Adam West. So the ending of this,
the Robin in the Clooney one was really good. I can't remember the actor's name, but that Robin was really good. I thought the movie didn't work, but
but George Clooney at the end of this last Batman movie, Flash, when he came out in Flash, and you have Michael, and he's like, oh my God, so to me, it's like I want to see like that again. I think like if Flash can keep going between the two universes, that would be a very interesting. And then to your point, bringing back Jack Nicholson would be like, oh.
Yeah, amazing.
That would be like a beaut. That would be like a fine cigar and a good scotch.
Listen, if anybody from Hollywood is watching this, if anybody from DC is watching us, we want a Batman movie with Michael Keaton, Danny DeVito, and Jack Nicholson. That's what we want.
Whoa! And we want a book deal for you. Come on.
Yeah.
So
that's it.
Sure.
That's it.
The Jews promoting the book. Go figure. So that's what I do. Listen, he wrote something. He wrote something very nice in here. It says, "Dear Jew." Yes, I mean, a lot of people don't say that. They say usually "Dear Steve," but he wrote "Dear Jew." So you got to appreciate that. So it's good. So there you go. Well, gentlemen, this has been a blast. Shiraz, it's always good to see you. We won't see you till next month, and we're going to miss you. I mean that with all respect. My partner here on No Snobs or Knobs, I will see you every Saturday morning. But Hollywood Wednesdays is when we do it. So, and my friend will see you, and you can come on anytime, any show, and we will talk whatever you want to talk about, my friend.
Awesome.
So,
he's booked mostly, but don't worry about that.
I know. Yeah, he's a big star in the UK now. Like we're lucky we get him an hour a month. So yes, we know you have a book. So, well, gentlemen, so everybody, please enjoy. We'll see you next month with Brown Car Guy. We'll see you every Saturday on No Snobs or Knobs. We hope you like it. And if you comment, feel free. If you don't like something, keep your mouth quiet and subscribe to the channel. By the way, just to let everybody know, we're up to 60,812 subscribers.
That's amazing. Ooh. That's amazing.
Thank you to you guys.
Honestly, that is unbelievable. That's so cool. That's really cool. Yeah. I mean, I'm only on 27, so I mean, I know what that takes. Wow. That is amazing. Yeah. Well done.
Well, the thing is, guys, it's not about us. It's all about the guests.
And
it's all about you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe if we write a book, the subscription will go down.
The bumper joke book. The bumper too old fast joke book.
There you go. I like it.
Hey, if we did a coloring book, I wouldn't have to send my crayons back to Amazon.
Oh my God.